years of observing people and their ways as I've walked this earth, I've come to an insightful realization. Intelligence isn't merely about the knowledge you possess. It's about how you live, how you treat others, and how well you learn from your missteps. But here's the twist. There are distinct and undeniable signs, 6 of them to be precise, that reveal when someone is, shall we say, lacking in wisdom. Now, before you dismiss this idea or chuckle at the thought of such a list, let me explain why it's important. Recognizing these signs isn't about passing judgment. It's about fostering self-awareness, encouraging growth, and avoiding these very pitfalls in our own lives. It's also about extending a hand to those who may not even realize they're trapped in cycles of unwise behavior. So, let's embark on this journey of discovery together. We'll uncover 6 unmistakable signs of a foolish person, each one accompanied by a lesson, a story, and an opportunity to reflect. Because the road to wisdom always starts with awareness. Ready to walk this path with me? Let's begin. Sign 1. A closed mind. A closed mind acts as a fortress for ignorance, constructed brick by brick with fear, pride, and stubbornness. Such individuals don't just dismiss new ideas, they also block their own growth. They confine themselves to a rigid framework where everything must adhere to their established rules, and anything that deviates is seen as a threat. Their apparent confidence often hides insecurity. For genuine confidence comes from understanding that no one can know everything. Take Mark, for instance, a department manager I once worked with. Mark was adamant that the traditional ways of working were best, even as his team fell behind the competition. When a younger employee suggested adopting modern project management software to improve efficiency, Mark outright rejected the idea, stating, "We've been doing it this way for 10 years, and it's worked fine." As a result, while other teams made significant progress, Mark's team struggled with outdated processes and declining performance. Instead of reflecting on his decisions, Mark blamed his staff, market conditions, and even luck, never his own inflexible mindset. A closed mind doesn't just halt personal development, it hinders the progress of everyone around it. In contrast, wise individuals readily admit what they don't know and eagerly seek new knowledge. Stoic philosophy reminds us that wisdom isn't about being right all the time. It's about adapting and improving. If you notice this tendency in yourself or others, remember, embracing innovation fosters personal growth and a more productive environment. Be bold enough to say, "I was wrong, and I'm willing to learn." Only when the walls of stubbornness fall can true wisdom flourish. Sign 2. Constant blaming. Foolish people are masters of excuses. To them, nothing is ever their fault. A failed project? The market was too challenging. A missed promotion? The boss was biased. Deep down, however, we all know the truth. Blaming is merely a shield, a defense mechanism to avoid facing reality. Yet this same shield becomes a prison, trapping them and preventing genuine growth. Take Lisa, for example, an event organizer I once worked with. She was responsible for planning a major conference that ultimately flopped due to low attendance. Without hesitation, Lisa blamed the marketing team for failing to promote the event effectively. However, an investigation revealed that Lisa had delayed sending key details, throwing the entire marketing campaign off schedule. Even with this revelation, she continued pointing fingers, refusing to acknowledge her role in the failure. The fallout was inevitable. Her colleagues lost trust in her, and Lisa eventually stepped down from her position. Responsibility, while often burdensome, is the gateway to growth. Wise individuals accept their mistakes, not because they enjoy criticism, but because they understand that truth paves the way for improvement. Stoic philosophy teaches us that mastering life begins with mastering responsibility. If you catch yourself falling into a pattern of blame, pause and ask, did I do everything I could? What could I have done differently? Blaming others doesn't change outcomes, but owning up to your part changes you. True wisdom lies in the courage to admit faults, learn from them, and move forward. Choose the path of accountability. It leads to growth, trust, and greatness. Sign 3. Arrogance over humility. We've all encountered someone who constantly feels the need to prove they're the smartest person in the room. This is the third sign of a foolish person: arrogance. Arrogance isn't just a facade for insecurity. It's one of the greatest barriers to growth and wisdom. Truly intelligent individuals understand the importance of listening more than they speak, recognizing that learning is a lifelong journey. Consider Michael, a manager at a large corporation. In every meeting, he dominated discussions, interrupted colleagues, and even mocked their suggestions. When a critical project failed, Michael placed the blame squarely on his team, claiming they hadn't grasped his brilliant ideas. In truth, it was his arrogance and refusal to listen that derailed the entire initiative. When asked to reflect on the failure, Michael couldn't identify a single valid reason because his inflated ego blinded him to opportunities for improvement. Humility, on the other hand, isn't about thinking less of yourself. It's about thinking of yourself less. It's about valuing learning and collaboration over the need to always be right. Stoic philosophy reminds us that wisdom emerges when we embrace new perspectives and admit our mistakes. If you ever find yourself caught in arrogance, pause and ask, am I seeking validation or am I genuinely striving to grow? Wisdom doesn't come from making others feel small, but from empowering them. The truly wise let humility lead the way, understanding that real intelligence flourishes in the absence of arrogance. Sign 4. Lack of empathy. One of the clearest indicators of foolishness is a lack of empathy, the inability to step into someone else's shoes, understand their emotions, or consider their perspective. Without empathy, people live disconnected lives, often hurting others without even realizing it. This absence of understanding not only damages relationships, but also stifles personal growth. Let me tell you about Paul, a colleague of mine who struggled with this. Paul frequently complained about project delays, never bothering to understand the reasons behind them. On one occasion, when Susan, a coworker, missed a deadline because her son was gravely ill, Paul openly criticized her in front of the team. Paul didn't care about Susan's circumstances, only about the results he expected. Ironically, a year later, when Paul found himself in a similar situation caring for his ailing mother, he finally understood the impact of his insensitivity. A lack of empathy doesn't just make someone appear cold, it isolates them and prevents them from learning through relationships. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that true wisdom isn't about knowing everything, but about deeply connecting with others. Empathy isn't a weakness, it's the bridge to wisdom and humanity. When you truly listen to someone, you not only help them, but also gain invaluable insights. If you notice a lack of empathy in yourself, start by listening without judgment. It's the first step toward opening your heart and mind, bringing you closer to true wisdom. Sign 5. Fear of change. Comfort zones are deceptive. They feel safe, but they can also become prisons. Those who fear change cling to outdated habits, even when they've long outlived their purpose. It's as if they're standing still while the world moves on around them, hesitant to step into the unknown. Yet life is a river, ever flowing and evolving. The wise learn to adapt and grow, while the foolish try in vain to hold on to what they know, only to find it slipping away. Take Michael, for instance, a man who spent his entire life in the same small neighborhood. He knew every face and every corner of his community, finding comfort in the familiar. When his grown children encouraged him to move closer to them for better opportunities, Michael resisted. "I know everyone here. Why should I leave?" he argued. But time had other plans. Friends moved away, beloved local shops closed, and the neighborhood he once knew began to change. Michael eventually realized that clinging to the past didn't prevent change. It only left him behind. When he finally made the move, he discovered that his new surroundings not only brought comfort, but also opened doors he'd never imagined. The fear of change doesn't just hold us back, it limits the possibilities of a fuller life. Stoic philosophy teaches us that change is inevitable. By embracing it with an open mind, we unlock our potential and enrich our existence. If you find yourself resisting change, ask, what am I really afraid of? What opportunities am I missing by staying in this comfort zone? Life doesn't stand still, and neither should we. Resisting change keeps us stagnant, but embracing it allows us to grow. Remember, it's not change itself that we fear, it's the uncertainty. Yet, on the other side of that uncertainty lies growth and new possibilities. Sign 6. Talking more than listening. Have you ever encountered someone who dominates every conversation, interrupting others and rarely taking the time to truly listen? This is a hallmark of foolishness, talking more than listening. These individuals love the sound of their own voice, often disregarding the insights and perspectives of others. This behavior not only creates tension, but also damages relationships, leaving others feeling undervalued and unheard. Let me share the story of John, a father I once knew. At dinner each evening, John would monopolize the conversation. His children tried to share their experiences from school, but John constantly interrupted to tell his own stories. When his wife suggested ideas to improve the family's finances, John dismissed her suggestions outright, insisting his way was the only way. What John failed to realize was the emotional distance his behavior was creating. His constant talking left his family feeling unimportant, and the bonds they shared grew weaker. Listening isn't a passive act, it's an active skill that demands genuine attention and respect for others. Stoic philosophy reminds us that listening is the gateway to wisdom. In silence, we gain deeper understanding, while speaking without listening is like scattering seeds on barren ground. Nothing grows. If you see yourself in John's story, it's never too late to change. The next time someone speaks, pause. Instead of preparing your response, focus on understanding what they're saying. By doing so, you'll not only strengthen your relationships, but also foster an environment of trust and mutual respect. Remember, the wise person listens to learn. The foolish one speaks to be heard. Choose to be the one who listens. So, we've uncovered the 6 unmistakable signs of a foolish person. A closed mind, constant blaming, arrogance, lack of empathy, fear of change, and talking more than listening. But before you start questioning yourself or labeling others, let's pause. The truth is, every one of us has at some point exhibited these traits. Perhaps we've been resistant to new ideas, avoided responsibility, or dominated a conversation without truly listening. These behaviors don't define us. They're moments of weakness, opportunities to learn, and stepping stones on the path to growth. Stoic philosophy teaches us that wisdom is not about perfection, but about self-awareness. It's about recognizing our flaws, owning our mistakes, and committing to change. Each of these 6 signs is a mirror, reflecting areas where we can improve and grow into wiser, stronger individuals. So if you've seen yourself in any of these traits, don't despair. Take it as an invitation to evolve. Challenge your comfort zones, embrace humility, listen deeply, and take responsibility for your actions. Growth isn't about being flawless, it's about being brave enough to say, I can do better. And remember, this journey isn't one you walk alone. Together, we can navigate life's challenges, learn from our mistakes, and strive for wisdom. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.